Okay, I'll go ahead and film this live. That way I can just put it up. This one's going to be a little bit more tiring as the usual fare goes, but excuse me. Let me see here. What was I going to say? I forget what I was going to say. It's amazing I forgot. I guess I was going to say is, where did the rise of Afro-Asian solidarity come from? Because there's this book called Facing the Rising Sun, African Americans, Japan, and the Rise of Afro-Asian Solidarity. It is a book that I'll be ordering not too long from now. And I've noticed this. This is something that's very interesting if you'll kind of peel back the history a bit. Is way back when Nation of Islam was started on July 4th, 1930, officially. You had a plot by Japanese nationalists to undermine the United States government. There was a big move by people even like W.E.B. Du Bois, who, of course, now a lot of bread tubers have discovered and kind of use his information. And they ignore, of course, the fact that W.E.B. Du Bois supported the Japanese. And, of course, they'll be like, they're very cringe about that. But, yeah. Let me go ahead and close the door here. Give me just a moment, folks. Okay. So I'm just going to read to you this outline of this book that hopefully I'll be reading, maybe not on stream because I leave that to the other Carl to do, but maybe I'll read it. So, in November 1942 in East St. Louis, Illinois, a group of African Americans engaged in military drills were eagerly awaiting a Japanese invasion of the U.S., an invasion that they planned to join. Since the rise of Japan as a superpower less than a century earlier, African Americans across class and ideological lines had saluted the Asian nation, not least because they thought its very existence undermined the pervasive notion of white supremacy. The list of supporters included Booker T. Washington, Marcus Garvey, and in particular W.E.B. Du Bois. Facing the Rising Sun tells the story of the widespread pro-Tokyo sentiment among African Americans during World War II, arguing that the solidarity between the two groups was significantly corrosive to the U.S. war effort. Gerald Horne, who's the author of this book, demonstrates that black nationalists of various stripes were the vanguard of this trend, including followers of Garvey and the precursor of the Nation of Islam. Indeed, many of them called themselves Asiatic, much like the same way. In the first degree in the Nation of Gods and Earths, it goes, who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man, cream of the universe. And you hear this use of Asiatic, not as much anymore, but it's still something very much there. Not African. This is something that even pervades more when you see some of the, some of the real big hoteps who are like, actually, the real samurais were black folks. Take a look at these photos and stuff like that. And they'll use that as their example. I'm not going to sit here and get into that or try to ridicule them. I'm just saying is that it kind of loops together, right? Following World War II, Japanese influence Afro-Asian solidarity did not die, but rather foreshadowed Dr. Martin Luther King's ties to Gandhi's India and black nationalist post-1970s fascination with Maoist China and Ho's Vietnam, based upon exhaustive research including the trial transcripts of the pro-Tokyo African Americans who were tried during the war, congressional archives, and records of the Negro press. That's what it said, not me. This book also provides essential background for what many analysts consider the coming Asian century. An insightful glimpse into the black nationalist struggle for global leverage and new allies. Facing the Rising Sun provides a complex, holistic perspective on a painful period in African American history and a unique glimpse into the meaning of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I'm so tired of that term holistic because people like Vosh try to use it, and I think he's ruined it, but yeah. It's kind of like how certain colonized Asian countries that decided to join Japan to fight the colonizers, Burma, India, Indonesia, some communists partook in it too. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's kind of funny now because, of course, if the folks who talk about W.E.B. Du Bois and use him, see, because the thing is, they'll talk about Martin Luther King Jr. and they'll say, well, actually, Martin Luther King Jr. was a socialist. It's like, all right. They'll talk a little bit about Malcolm X, but they aren't as strong on Malcolm X because he was more straight up and down, like a legitimate Afrocentrist and more of a Pan-Africanist in legitimate terms, and was a legitimate Sunni Muslim at the end of his life. Chairman Mao who was spiritually African American. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that. That's why a lot of Maoists that you see are, melanated, if you will. So, I would say to this, this isn't very surprising, but I think there's been some pushback on this. I think especially with China getting involved with many African nations, spread all over, whether it's the eastern coast of Africa down to South Africa, and throughout the continent. But I'm just saying, is it, yeah. It's the same with IRA fetishists who won't talk about the collab with the obver. Oh, yeah. Black Mao, lol. Oh, yeah. Let me see if I can find a funny picture here. I'm going to do... Yeah, here we go. I could do Black Mao. Let me see if I can find that. I'm sure they have it. I'm sure they do. Oh, no, they don't. They haven't made a meme out of that yet. Well, they have made a meme out of this one, though. I thought they did. This will work. Hold on. I got a funny one. I'll go ahead and do it. Oh, does this one doesn't? Oh, no. Yeah. Well, hold on. Let me see if I can find it again. That's pretty funny, though. There we go. Why not? I'll go ahead and do this one. Why not? Let me see if I can change it right quick. Let me see here. I'll go ahead and switch the brand right quick here. There we go. Just give it a moment there. Let me go ahead and add this in. Downloads. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's as close as it's going to get, right? But yeah, I was going to say is that some of that is being pushed back on because of China and their expansion into the African continent. Same goes for, I would say, probably for the treatment of Afro-Americans in China itself. Where they were keeping where they were keeping black folks out of, I think it was McDonald's. I think in the early days of COVID. It was something like that, but they kept them out. So, it's one of those things, right? Can't really. But I think it's interesting to think about. And so I will be reading about that. I think it's interesting because I think the reason that Malcolm X, when he was still known as Malcolm Little, went to jail, or when he was, I'll put it this way, when he was first noticed by the FBI, was because he wrote letters which were pro-Japanese and were pretty much against the United States. And so I do think it's interesting. Italians or Africans, changed my mind. Yeah, it's probably true, yeah. The hell is this image? It is a meme, George Washington. It is a meme that says, yeah, Benito Mussolini's real name was Bentu Mzele, and he was a black man. In the years following his death, he was whitewashed by racist white supremacists to stop the black Itali tribe from using fascism to self-determine their destiny. That is hilarious. Oh boy. It's funny. Oh man. Like I say, this is why it makes it hard for folks who are more I guess you could say left wing to try to make sense of what black folks want. They're like, well, we don't want to be racist, but we don't like the idea of black nationalism and like the all the melanated type stuff. They don't like that either. And it's just like when you get into it, it's like apart from MLK and apart from like a handful of folks, they really can't talk about a whole lot. I mean, people like Vosh will whitewash Marcus Garvey purely as a fascist, and I'm like, bro, you realize how many people you've pissed off because it's just like, oh, well, Marcus Garvey was a fascist, so who cares? It's just like, okay, I mean, go ahead, man, but you've already lost that battle. And I was hearing him today talk about reparations, which I didn't completely disagree with him about, but I was like, you just love to alienate people, don't you? And he's just like, we need a class-based reparations. I'm like, that's never going to happen, dude. There's going to be a Tariq Nasheed-like person who's going to be like, why are these honkies getting money? They were products of slavery, and they made money from slavery. It doesn't matter if they were rich or not. And so, oh, man, these folks just do not want to do any real, actual research into how people work and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, Marcus Garvey was an imperialist proto-fascist. Exactly, yeah. It's interesting to me, though, I mean, especially when I've talked about this before with Malcolm X, but it's like the minute Malcolm X left the Nation of Islam, I don't think Malcolm X actually cared about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's infidelities with his secretaries. I don't think he cared. I think that he cared because the Nation of Islam was politically irrelevant. They made a lot of noise. Their followers were shot and killed by police. But in general, the Nation of Islam was, a force that kind of kept their distance from politics, which I don't really blame them, because honestly, that's why the Nation of Islam still exists, apart from their ups and downs and their affiliations with certain members and other groups in general. NOI is still around. Would Muslim Mosque Incorporated exist the same way? I don't know. Would the Organization of Afro-American Unity exist the same way? I don't know. Like I say, and it's interesting to think about. I know. Why is a cracker like me always talking about black folks? I just think it's, the thing is that the United States is literally always framed as black and white. It's always the way it's been. So Malcolm X and Rockwell. Yeah, well, to be fair, Mad Baron. To be fair, Malcolm X didn't really care for Rockwell that much. The Nation of Islam worked with Rockwell. But once Malcolm X broke away from the Nation of Islam, he called up Rockwell and pretty much just let him know, hey, your goons down in I think it was Atlanta. He said, we'll shoot them on sight if they attack black folks or something like that. And Rockwell hung up the phone. So, like I said, there is a phone call. You can find it online somewhere from that time. But anywho, more often than not, we fetishize these folks and everything. To me, at the end of the day, it's like, it's a real question of what Malcolm X would have been if he had lived. That's the real question, isn't it? Would he have been like a... Did you see the Wolin and Julie debate, a cringy bread tuber called Perspective Philosophy? I think I did, yes. That was a while back, wasn't it? I did see a bit of that. Yeah, it was very... Yeah, that guy is very much a big brain sort of dude. What is he, Scottish? I'm thinking it's that guy. He's very boring, and yeah, I couldn't care less about that debate, to be honest with you. But yeah, I've heard of some of it. Yeah, that was a while back. I think Julie, I think for intents and purposes, is a little bit less cringe as he used to be, which I think is good, relatively speaking. Because I think he's just, he's getting older just like everyone else. So, but anywho, I try not to delve into that type of stuff. But yeah, sorry for the dead air, folks. Yeah, either Scottish or North English, something like that. Yeah, maybe he's Irish. I don't know. I think that's all I really have to say about that, though. But it is an interesting subject, and obviously, Bruce Lee and kung fu movies in general, the Shaw Brothers movies, inspired breakdancing a lot, and you can obviously see it in certain movies. It's like you can see a movie like, say, The Lady is the Boss, the end fight with Siu Hao and Lau Garler, and you can see. I'll probably show a clip of that. Maybe I will. I don't think I'll get a strike from it. Let me see. Let me see here. I probably will, but oh well. I know I can't show the whole movie. Here we go. Yeah, I'll show the ending. This would be a good way to wrap it up, but it's very much, you can see the breakdancing here. Let me see if I can. I knew that Malcolm X. I just want to mention it because some people not the rest of NOI. I think Zolt is unfortunately guilty of this too. Yeah. Well, it's okay. Like I say, I'm trying to be as fair as I can be. Yeah, I'll go ahead and show that clip. Why not? It'd be a good way to end the stream. It's a great movie in general. It's not necessarily the greatest, but it's a good contemporary, as of 1983, kung fu movie film. I mean, the end. Yeah. Yeah, he's okay. Oh, yeah, because I got the diddly-do on there. Okay, let me change the brand again. Change it back to this one. There we go. Okay, that's better. Lau Kar-leung there, beating up the bad guys, free Hua Ying home.
王师傅真不错啊！上！
Pretty amazing for Lau Kar-leung in this, because he was probably about 44. So I'm thinking, well, if I do the math right, 19. I think 43. Yeah, I think he was 43 when he made this movie. So pretty good. Passed away in 2013. But yeah, that's actually Alexander Fusheng's brother. That guy. That's Wang Yu. Yeah, this guy in particular, he was, I'm just providing commentary for no reason. And there's Sun Chin. He's the guy that was in a lot of the Venom's movies there. Bow tie. Of course, Gordon Liu. passage there. Very frenetic, isn't it? The pace. Very 80s, regardless.
奶奶的！哎呀，你奶奶的！
Great setting for a kung fu movie fight though with the gym. Makes it easier to use the trampolines and stuff like that. This is the bit right here. This is very breakdancing. Yes, I mean, minus the flips there. Somersaults. Here we go. This stuff right here. That's usual opera stuff. Here we go. Yeah. Great stuff there. Pretty much, this is almost a copy of Mayan Auntie from 1981, but still, great fight to see. See, with this movie, it's not about killing people. It's just more about embarrassment and respect, you know. So it's like he could have really hurt him, but he did. But
如果你对我的功夫还满意，我师妹的事就这么算了。
he's just like, well, okay. Yeah, let's leave. All right. There we go. All right. I just had to indulge myself a little bit, but yeah. Stream died. Oh, damn it. They didn't want to let me show that clip of that. Well, shoot. Oh, well. Anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed that. I think that's all I'll say here. I guess see you later. Goodbye.